Hey, it's Mack with PriceActionTradingSystem.com, and it's Monday, it's December the 16th, and this will be a chart lesson for today. Not much happening today. There was a great rally, but it all happened in the overnight. There were, a nice little early morning move, and then we just kind of went into these little tight ranges. We had a little bit of a downtrend here, and a break of the trend, this little channel here. We went back into kind of another little tight range, and then we moved down to a new low, and then we had a little bit of a rally and broke that. And so we just really spent most of the day in, I don't even know what it just turned out to be. I would say most of the price action was in 79 to maybe 84, 85, so maybe a 5 point range there. But for the most part, it was, it was staying these little tight ranges that, are less than a point or so. And it's hard to trade. You really can't trade those. You have to wait on some kind of trap or a breakout pullback or something. And even then, it's a little bit questionable. There were a couple of early morning trades and a couple of little scalps in the afternoon. And if you miss those, there wasn't really much happening. I traded a couple hours this morning and got out of here. I couldn't stand it. And, I kept thinking, hey, maybe we'll get another leg like this first leg, but it just never transpired. So not much you can do about it. You got to take what it's going to be like this probably through the holidays. So just be prepared. There's probably not going to be much happening. I'm going to trade a couple of more days, maybe through the end of this week, and then I'm probably going to take the rest of the year off. And, I suggest you probably do the same unless you want to use it for your studies or something like that. So, but let's talk about what we did see, and we'll move on from there. There was a couple of trades real early this morning. You had this real tight, strong channel coming up. This is like a second entry. This is a second entry long right here. We had a first leg back, turn up, and then a second leg back. And you had this little reversal bar, kind of a little bullish reversal type bar. It worried me a little bit at first. Let me get, worried me a little bit at first. Heck, my bar session is gone again. Here it is. I'm going to go ahead and put that on because some of you like those numbers on there. And so we'll go ahead and put those on. Sorry about that. I just noticed that they weren't there. But let me get this out of the way so you can see this. There was a second entry long right there, and then we kind of, and you might have even gotten shaken out here because we weren't back to the EMA, but the channel, this is the trend line. That's really the first bounce off of it since way down here. And we did close outside the little trend line here. But if you entered here, which is where you'd want to enter, you're already in it when it starts to do this, and you might have got shaken out here. Not much you can say if you did. You just, you got shook out. But it wouldn't have necessarily been a bad move just to take what it gives you. Get your tick or break even right here and wait and see what happens. But when you got this little trap here in the second entry long counting off the lows, then you can jump back in right there or add on there if you were already in here. The way I would play this is I put my stop 2 ticks below this bar and I let whatever happens, happens. Occasionally I'll scratch out, but in a trend that strong, I probably would have held on and to see what would happen. So your first entry's there. If you did get shook out, then the next entry was on this little trap. See bar 36 here. It broke higher, and then bar 37 ticked 1 tick lower and turned up and goes out the upper side. I just have a stop waiting right there. That was the best setup. Of course, you don't know that till after the fact, but that's a second entry long counting off the low side. And you're looking for a retest of the highs here. And a trend that strong, you're thinking maybe even another 2 legs up that are close to the length to this leg, and maybe even another leg up. Who knows? So it may turn out to be a spiking channel, and you might have looked at that this way. There's kind of a little spiking channel here. You still get to the same place, but just in case you saw it that way, I'll go ahead and draw it on the. You got your break right here, and you still got your new high, and it's 2 little swings up to a new high. So no matter how you saw it, you still got it there. But that would also strengthen these 2 trades when we get to them, as you'll see. So I wanted to show it you know, I saw it both ways. It's a little bit lower here. But anyway, second entry, and both of these, any runners would have been safe, and so you could have gotten, you know, several points out of your runners here. I probably would have exited right here when we overshot that, or when we made this new high and kind of went into this congestion area. There's a second entry long again here, and let me get this out of the way here. But I didn't really, the reason I like this one here, and this was your signal bar when it broke above right there. And this is one, you know, it's not a beautiful signal bar, but notice the little double bottom and the matching lows and the little trap. So when it broke above this, I would probably drop a limit order in there and see if you could get filled. And you would have gotten filled all the way back to, you know, almost the very low of that bar. And then it quickly shot up, and then it pulls back and it gives a second entry long. It's almost a repeat pattern of this right here. And this one you might have got shaken out, but if you held on, you could have scalped on out of it on the second entry. It's real tight. There was enough room to get out. I know it worked because I was in, you know, trading at this point. So there's just enough to get out of that with your, I believe it got just the right amount of ticks. Let me see if it got anything extra. You would have entered at 75, and you see it got actually a couple of extra ticks. So you had more than enough to get out of that one. I knew that, but I wasn't sure if it went an extra tick or so there, but it did. And then you just kind of got hung up in this stuff. If you might have even been tempted to go long here if you saw this spike in channel, because this would be the first break. But after being in that tight of a channel for that long, you know, I just don't think it would be very smart to go long there. And if you did, when it broke out here and turned back down, you know, you just about got to get out right there. It's just no sense in playing around with it. I don't think it's very smart to reverse there, so you just got to kind of watch that one go. And then you get a little two-legged correction back to the EMA. It's like a breakout pullback short. You get a nice bearish bar there. If you tried to use a limit order, you got left behind on this one, but it didn't go very fast, but easy scalp. And then you get another little two-legged correction right off that trend line, and you could have gotten the trend line off the low side and drug it up and been expecting that, but it's right there at the EMA anyway, and that's rejection off the EMA there. This is the same thing. You get a little small bearish bar, just drop your stop right there, easy scalp, and then you get the break, and you're looking for a retest, but you want to wait on the second entry, but by the time it came, you're back in another one of these little things, and I just don't think it's very wise there to go short. If you did and you stuck it out, it worked, but I don't think it was worth it. And then you kind of had a little failed breakout, and you don't want to go long because we've been working down and we've had that break, and there's no trap or anything. And then you do end up with a little trap here, but again, you're still in this. I think it's better to wait on the breakout pullback short, and then you pull back, you test it, and you get this little bearish reversal bar. So you might have thought about going short right there. And if you did, you had to, I can't remember if I don't think it got enough ticks right there. 80, no, it ended up working, but you had to ride this out. So you might have gotten shaken out of that one. In fact, that is one where once you started making these little bars higher, I probably would have exited that. When that reversal bar right there was not a good sign. When it couldn't go below that and that reversed, you know, I might have exited that one. If you held your stop up here where it's supposed to go, it would have worked. But I don't think I would have ridden that one out. So that one I probably would have taken what it got, but it would have worked if you stuck it out and kept your stop. So if you entered that one, I marked it. I wanted to mark it green, but I marked it because a lot of people might have taken that, and it would have worked. And you know, following the rules, keeping your stop up here. But personally, I probably would have gotten shaken out of that and probably lost a tick or two there. You never know what you might have done. I wasn't trading by that time, so. And then you got another chance to get short here. Now you got a double top. You've tried to test it twice. You know what that means. were probably going further in the other direction. But look, again, you got all that overlap. So I just think it was a little aggressive. And, you know, you're finding support down here. It would have been a nice trade. It would have worked. But I think it was being a little aggressive. And now you got your new low off of this channel. You had your break and your new low. And then now you're making a little higher high swing there. You don't want to go short here. And there's no real short set up here. Let me show you. If it would have went below that bar, maybe. But notice how that one couldn't even get back down there to the low of that bar. It may be hard to see. Let me make it a little bit bigger. And you can see right here, this bar couldn't even get down to here. Then you break lower, and then this tries to go lower. I don't think a scalp would have worked there. Let me just double check that. There's no reason to go short there. But in case you did, no, it's not even close. It missed it by a couple of ticks. But when that reverses, because you should have drawn your trend line up through there off those first couple of bars, and you can see that. And then when that broke lower and reversed and closed on its high, you got a failed second entry short there. That's a short trap. And that's what I would have been most, you know, probably looking for there. And this one takes off. And that was a pretty good trade. And then there just wasn't anything else the rest of the day. You know, I don't think it was worth fooling with any of that, and that gets you into 230. There is a little channel there. If you saw it, you could have been trading it. Looks about like that right there. You see that fits on this side. So you might could have traded that channel. I definitely wouldn't have entered in here. In fact, I would put all that in lavender. Not worth fooling with. Then you get a little breakout pullback short. So you might have taken that one, but guess what? It's after 2:30, so that's the reason I didn't mark anything out there. So that's what I saw today. Just not a very good trading day. Not much going on. If you back out a little bit, the moves look a little bigger. Part of the reason why it doesn't look that good is because this move is so big that it really scrunches all that up over there. But you see as you get over here and you back out a little bit, it's a, you know, the moves are a little bigger than they appear the other way. So, but you just got to stay out of these tight ranges or little congestion areas like that. And other than that, just not much to talk about today even. I mean, it was really not a very good day. And like I said, I didn't trade very long. I made a little money over here, and when it just, you know, kept doing this right here, that's the day enough is enough. And so anyway, that's really about it. Not much else to talk about. It's going to be real slow like this through the holidays. Let me back out again where you can see the bigger picture. But again, you had your channel up, your break, a new high, or you might have seen it as a spiking channel. And a spiking channel just spikes real high, and then it kind of goes off into your 45-degree angle. And then you get your break and your new high. So either way you saw it, it worked out the same. And that's what I always try to show you. As long as you get your trend lines and your trend channels close, you're generally okay. You can't be completely wrong, though, because if you're completely off, you'll be entering in the wrong places. And then you had the little channel working down. You had your break, your couple of legs to a new low, and then you had your channel up. You had your break, and it tried to go up twice and couldn't. And this down channel came into play, and it held through the close of the day, and that was it. And just trying to think if there's anything else relevant that might be worth talking about here. I just don't see anything. It just wasn't a very, and like I said, it's going to be slow and kind of, you know, probably through the end of the year till January. It's probably going to be similar to this, unfortunately. But you never know. You might get a good day like that where it moves like that all day. So, you know, it's worth coming in and look and to see. But as the day goes along and nothing's happening, then you probably figure, hey, it's probably going to be that way all day. And you know, just don't try to force any. I guess that's the best thing I'll say during these holidays. When you get in these little tight channels like that, or little tight ranges or congestion area like that, I should say, just stay out of it. You're better off to stay out, because you see what happens. People are just getting whipsawed both ways here, and then it finally failed out the top and turned down and trapped everybody, and they all had to exit. And so that's what happens to you. So just stay out of it. And I'll probably just should go ahead and circle those in the lavender color. We did. And that's it for today. So I'm going to wrap it up early today. I'm doing this a little later in the evening because I left early and came back to do but I'll probably do one every day this week, and then I'll probably be it through the end of the year. So spend this time, having some fun, doing something fun. Take a break from trading, or at least, if you're going to do anything, just use it to study and to maybe practice trade if you're off work and have more time to sit and watch the market than you normally do. But just be prepared for a lot of this, because this is relatively typical for this time of year. So, but I'm going to wrap it up. I'm just rambling. There's not much to talk about today. Hope you had a good trading day. We'll be back to do it tomorrow. This is Mack with PriceActionTradingSystem.com, and we'll see you next time.